As we all know, the United States, by law, conducts a census every 10 years. The census provides the only way to determine the true economic and social makeup of the nation, states, and local communities. Changes in population, workforce, job growth, and demographic composition over the past decade are all measured and used in making decisions affecting the next 10 years. For Huntsville, Madison County, capturing the true growth of the metro area and surrounding region is absolutely essential to demonstrate this area's many infrastructure needs and obtain for our community critically needed federal funding. Retrieving accurate census data on every person living in the community is vital because the information is used for multiple reasons, including reapportioning congressional representation, state and local political districts, and as the basis for nearly every major government program for the next 10 years. Funding-wise, the federal government distributes over $400 billion to states and local communities each year based on needs and data collected from the census. According to Census Bureau figures for the Huntsville-Madison County community, each person counted equates to approximately $1,200 in annual federal funding for roads, infrastructure, and economic and social programs. A family of 5 equates to an additional $6,000 in annual federal funding for our community. So each person counted does make a difference. We are committed to partnering with the Census Bureau and supporting their efforts in our community, and today's event officially kicks off the next 3 months of census awareness leading to the Census Day on April 1st. Our goal is to encourage every resident to participate by mailing in the census form as soon as they receive it. It's important to our community, and it is important to each one of us. Today's resolution signing will demonstrate the collective resolve of the Huntsville, Madison, and Madison County communities, as well as the major employer and economic driver for all of North Alabama, Redstone Arsenal. So at this time, I'd like to invite our first speaker to the podium, Madison County Commission Chairman Mike Gillespie, who is serving his 5th term as chairman of the Madison County Commission and who knows as well as anyone the importance of the census.
As Don said, our community speaks with one voice. Never before, at least in my memory, have we spoken as united as we are right now. As you can see from the representation here, we are one community with one voice, and this census is going to recognize even more so how we speak with that one voice. The census is important to us as individual communities as well as the Huntsville, Madison County, Limestone County area. Each individual community, the count is critical to funding issues as well as many other issues, both state and federal. Our portion of roads and infrastructure and the economic growth that we're experiencing is largely dependent on federal funding, and that federal funding is largely dependent on census counts. So we can't overemphasize the importance of that.
You know, Huntsville is one of the shining stars in the state of Alabama, and the census estimates that the city of Huntsville has added over 16,600 new residences since 2000, the most of any in the state, and that we have to prove with this census. The 2000 census is our opportunity to accurately record and capture our community's growth and the decisions that affect our community over the next 10 years will be based on the data collected. Our funding for roads, our funding for education, our funding for economic and social programs are all based on census data. And our ability to support the current and future growth of something that General Miles and all of us have been working on for a long time, our needs due to BRAC will be affected by our response to this census. You know, every person in this community is very important. It's important that we count each one. The numbers show that $1,200 per person per year is what we lose off each one not counted. And so it's important to have an accurate assessment. There are going to be some special efforts that are going to be made throughout the city of Huntsville, and we'll be making those in every segment of our community. We have Connie Graham, who is working with us from the city of Huntsville and doing a great job to make sure that everybody is counted. The census will measure every resident, including all non-citizens and by law, all information is confidential. Huntsville is recognized nationally as one of the country's best communities. Now's our chance to live up to that reputation, with everyone doing their part on this census. So I want to thank each of you for the work that you're going to put in for this census, and I want to thank the citizens out there because they're going to make sure that we have the most accurate count we've ever had. And this is one of those that we want to get ahead of before the census happens and not be talking about undercounts afterwards.
But it is a community voice, and I think actions speak louder than words, and we are committed as a team to making sure that our community supports the census count. It makes a difference for all of us. And those actions, in the end, as Mayor Battle talked about, we want folks to be talking about what we did on the front end, not what we have to do on the back end. Madison is a community that really shows what can happen in the course of 3 centuries. If you go back, right now Madison is the fastest growing city in the state of Alabama with over 25,000 population. But in 1980, we were a town of 4,000. It makes a difference in our community for every household to be counted and get the census in. We've grown at nearly 4% a year over the last 10 years. It's a dramatic growth, but it's the bigger picture as far as the reasons that our town is growing. So it's a challenge for us, and it was, as Don said, pretty neat for me to see that Madison had a 73% return rate for the census, which was the highest in the state. So we need to continue to do that, and we will continue to do that. So it's easy for me as a mayor to back up what these gentlemen have already said in making sure that our citizens in Madison and then the entire Madison County community make sure that we are counted. It does make a difference. And in Madison, if you're trying to keep up with infrastructure, the key is making sure that every household turns these forms back in. So I'd ask them to do so and look forward to supporting this throughout the course of this entire 3 or 4 months. Thank you.
As a commander for Redstone Arsenal here, I represent 32,000 great Americans that come to work every single day to do 2 things: to support the warfighter downrange in Afghanistan, Iraq, around the world, and also to support those that are helping defend this nation. Because on Redstone Arsenal, it is truly a national mission. It's a national treasure out there. With a mission that we're given, we're also given the responsibility, and that is to be a good neighbor. And I'll tell you what, I can't think of a better group of people to partner with than these great neighbors and these leaders here in front of us. It is a great community. I've been around a lot of places here, and there's none better than this whole Tennessee Valley. And so with our responsibilities of being good neighbors, it is our responsibility to make sure that we carry the message. And that one message is make sure people understand who you are, make sure that you participate in the census. Because this thing is very important. It's about the BRAC of 2005. It's about the next BRAC in 2015. And it starts with seeing yourself. It starts with understanding how many people are here so that great elected officials can, in fact, make informed decisions. And there's no better delegation you could possibly have than the Alabama delegation we have up in Washington, D.C., and also here in the state and the local area. And so what we need to do, all of us collectively, is to make sure that we give the right information to our elected officials so that they can do the things that they do best, which is support the people in this great Tennessee Valley. You have our commitment, Mike and Paul and Tommy. You have my personal commitment and our commitment on Redstone Arsenal to do all we can to make sure that we are participating in this census, because it is too important for this Tennessee Valley that we're so fortunate to be blessed with to have the Redstone Arsenal here.